Hey, welcome back to the Ping Pong Flix Show. My name is Chris Wong. I got a bunch of DC updates for you today in terms of Wonder Woman 1984 and Zack Snyder's Justice League. But before we get into that, I have to thank my newest member of the Ping Pong Flix Show. Thank you so much to Pete Pardo Jr. Thank you so much for joining the Ping Pong Flix Show members of family. And definitely once we get to the 150 mark, we will have another random prize drawing, which I have to figure out what I'm going to get next. And Bob, or George, actually, don't worry. I'm trying to send that package out. It is the holidays, though, so it may take a little bit longer and slower to get there. But in any case, let's get on with the show. The first topic of the day is Val Kilmer talks to reprise his role as Batman in The Flash. Yeah, you're like, wait, what? This is coming from Daniel RPK. Thank you to DC Verso for putting it out. Daniel RPK confirms that there have been talks with actor Val Kilmer for him to reprise his role as Batman in The Flash. So far, no deal with Kilmer has been struck. And so I was kind of like, really? Is that really the case here? I mean, okay, he did show, he's going to be in the new Top Gun, right? So he's doing, he's coming back into it, and he's never stopped working. And, his cancer is gone now. I think I read somewhere, and that he is, working his way back. He's going to work forever. And so I'm pretty happy for him if that's truly the case. And if that is, wow, there is a lot of cameos in The Flash, or they're trying to get cameos in The Flash. Like I said, maybe none of them have really, actually signed the dotted line yet, right? And so they're trying to reach out to every, type of character they can, and seeing what they can get with, and then, write the story around that. I think that's just me thinking of how they're going to go about that. Because I think, wouldn't Christina Hodson already have this whole thing laid out? And so if they couldn't get a certain Batman or something, you would think that it wouldn't already be in the script, right? So I think I'm wondering now if there are certain parts of the story that are left open just in case they could add in certain people like Val Kilmer, Linda Carter, Nicolas Cage, and have that all squared away before it's even in the story. So it's starting to sound like these little cameos and roles are not intrinsic to the story. And so with that in mind, it'll probably be short little glimpses or things that happen, like Flash going into these different universes and meeting all these different people, but not spending a lot of time, even not much at all. It's kind of like Stan Lee in your way, something like that. And could be that type of cameo. I don't know, but we'll have to wait and find out what The Flash. And that's why, for me, The Flash is one of my anticipated DC films coming out, because there's a huge shroud of mystery over it, beyond the basics of that he's trying to go back and save his mom. But aside from that, there's a whole ton of mystery around it and who's going to be in it that is still kept under wraps, other than, Ben Affleck and, Michael Keaton's still in talks, I think. So that still may not even be confirmed. But Ben Affleck's for sure in it. Ezra Miller is for sure in it. And of course, other characters as well. But I'm really intrigued by this, so I'm really looking forward to finding out more about The Flash. All right, well, now let's get into pretty much a Wonder Woman 1984 day. And, Zack Snyder actually peppered in some Justice League for us. A lot of good stuff, though. But the first thing I want to talk about in terms of Wonder Woman is that Injustice 2 has a new update. Injustice 2 Mobile. The 4.2 update is here along with legendary Golden Armor Wonder Woman. Get the update now and suit up in her new golden armor. Injustice 2 Mobile. I've got that game, so I'm really, right after this, I'm going to start downloading the update, and I want to get that golden armor. So anybody who has Injustice 2 Mobile, now you can get the golden armor Wonder Woman. So that's awesome and cool. Got to get some games in there, have to plug that in. Now, it's Wonder Woman 1984 day, pretty much, because there was a virtual world premiere. They had fans come in and they talk to the cast. It was kind of like a red carpet thing. Hans Zimmer did a whole thing where he made some, played the theme song. Tino Gua was there as well, and even Patty and Gal also participated as well. So it was quite a thing. It's out now. You can go on YouTube. I'll link that in the description below if you want to check out the virtual world premiere. Nothing much more than just there's the opening scene, which I'll talk about in a little bit. But today was also very important for Wonder Woman 1984 in terms of critics, because today, like I said, the embargo lifted, and so they were able to put out their reviews. And of course, like every other movie, Rotten Tomatoes is the aggregate, and it pulls in all these different reviews and puts it into a nice little percentage for us. But that doesn't mean that that percentage is, pretty much what that movie quality is. It's just an aggregate. It just compiles the positive, what they think is positive, what they think is negative, and tries to put it together. So when I show you this, please keep in mind that I'm not saying that the quality of this movie is based upon the score. Not at all. Please go and watch it for yourself. Your opinion is the most important opinion, and that should be the one that you should listen to. But for people, it's a lot of people who are still curious about my thoughts on the Rotten Tomatoes score, I will give it to you now. This is the Rotten Tomatoes score, Wonder Woman 1984, whopping 88%. Currently fresh. The total count is only 78, though. So there's 69 rated fresh, 9 rated rotten. In terms of top critics, there's a 90%. 27% rated fresh, 3% rated. I would say that by the end of this thing, it'll still be on the positive scale. It's 70s, high 70s to 80s, something like that, unless there's a slew of reviews coming in that'll top that, but we'll have to wait and see. Critics' consensus is great. Hera, Wonder Woman 1984 is an epic dose of heart and vibrant escapism that proves there are still unexpected thrills to be found in superhero cinema. I won't go into the reviews at all. I would like to, like I said, I'm going to go in with a fresh mind. As fresh as possible. I've seen people say things, but I'm not going to read any reviews just in case there are any spoilers in them, and I'm trying to avoid that, and I suggest you do as well. But if you do want to know what the critics think individually, maybe your favorite critic you want to hear from or watch a video of, you can go on and do that. Not everybody watched it, but there's a good chunk that have watched it already. So now is the time that you can probably go and check that out. But for me, I'm going to wait for Wonder Woman 1984 to see how I think about Wonder Woman 1984, and I'm not going to be able to watch it until December 25th, Christmas. So it's going to be an incredible Christmas morning for me, and I hope it comes out Christmas morning. I really think it is, but it's going to be an incredible one, and I can't wait to share this with the family as well. Sitting on my couch, on the big screen, on my couch, with some popcorn, Wonder Woman 1984 on HBO Max. That's going to be crazy awesome. All right, but there have some things that have kind of jumped out, and one of them is the one of the scenes, a scene leaked, not leaked, but shown. I guess it was shown in China and is now being passed around, over the internet on Twitter. And this is what I call the mall scene, right? I'm not going to show you the scene because of copyright issues, but it does start out with these guys screaming because this guy is trying to drop this kid for some reason. Everybody's like, no, don't do it, and then Wonder Woman saves the day, right? Saves the kid, drops her off right there in a fashion probably like it's really fast. They don't really know who she is. She catches this guy, lassos him, pulls him on the ground, and then she's trying to tell him, this guy, to don't run, but of course he runs, and then she does something where she actually throws her her tiara, and it destroys the cameras before she puts it back on, and then pursues this dude right here, in which he kind of she shoots him and maybe I can show this real quick before it goes boom right here, and he does that little spin, rocking out of control. This guy is trying to scoot away, and then everybody's just looking at it and it's like, what the heck is going on? So my thoughts on this is that and I'll go back to this dude screaming here because it's hilarious. My thoughts on this is, in fact, yes, it is super cheesy. Super cheesy, it is. But that's not necessarily a negative thing, because there were two things. There was one, two things. Like two things that I considered on how Patty Jenkins was going to, establish Wonder Woman 1984. Is she going to shoot this movie in the 80s setting, or is she going to shoot this movie like it's in the 80s? And now, looking at what we've seen now in the clip, I've come to the conclusion, like we all have, that is she indeed, like she said she would, that she is shooting this like as if it's in the 80s. And over the top, dramatic, really over top dramatic, and just the cheesiness of it shows us that she truly is trying to film this like as if she was in 1984 shooting an action film for the 80s audience at that time. Because if you look up 80s things, right, like 80s movies, I'm trying to, Full Donner, right, Christopher Reeve movies, they were in the 80s, well, 78, and then, into the 80s, but they had those some little slapsticky kind of things going around, really cheesy dialogue, and, things like that. That worked because that was in the 80s. Commando, that was in the 80s. That, in fact, that mall scene, something like that, right? Ghostbusters, that happened. Raiders, was it Raiders Lost Ark? Like one of the Indiana Jones, or maybe a couple of them, were also in the 80s as well. They've had that little bit of that cheese in there, that little bit of camp in there. That's how it looked like in the 80s, I grew up in the 80s. I know what that kind of movies are like. And when I watched this clip, I'm like, it is as if this was being played in the 80s. This is an 80s movie, and it's coming out like an 80s movie right there. So, and I think if that is her intent, then she did it. She clearly did it. She clearly, just judging from this clip, that she has indeed approached this film as if she was in the 80s, shooting this film in the 80s for the 80s audience, right? Now, that does not automatically translate for us in the 2020s liking this movie or appreciating that it's in the 80s. I'm not saying that at all. But in terms of creative and, her creativity, that's how she wants to approach her style for this, then I think she's successful in that. Now I'm really interested in how the whole film gets put together in that fashion, and how we can overall look at how this is going to come out. So that's what intrigues me. So for me, I lived in the 80s. I appreciate the 80s. I still watch 80s movies. This looks like one of them, and I can appreciate that. But I still want to see the entire picture and how it shapes up and comes together. So, but that's not all. That's not the only scene or clip that we've seen today. Because of the virtual world premiere, Patty Jenkins decided to show us the 1984 opening scene. Of course, again, I cannot show you this to you, but I will link in the description where you can watch this yourself. So it comes in. Let me pull it up here. The Warner Brothers actually shows up, and it's got that retro style, and then it goes into her, as a younger kid running through the jungle with an amazing, top-notch Hans Zimmer score. He is still one of the best composers in that industry. absolutely amazing. And you know what? This score has been out. I've talked about it maybe a month or a months ago, I think. But now it's great that people are starting to catch on and realizing that a lot of this Water Tower music is already on YouTube, and a lot of tracks are there. I'm probably not going to appreciate all the tracks because I want to have that sense of actually watching the movie first, then appreciating the tracks after. But this one is out, and it gives you an idea of what to consider in terms of the score, the epic score that is being taken place in this movie. Now, this is what they call the games, right? This is the games in Themyscira. It starts off with Diana narrating for it, and she goes through what I pulled from this opening scene is the different things that the Themysciras, the Amazons are doing. Like, for instance, where she lassos an arrow, right? She lassos an arrow before it gets stuck there and utilizes to swing out. Now, in the other opening, in part of the opening scene, but I think more in like the trailers that we've seen or some clips that we've seen, where we see her, Diana, lassoing a bullet, lassoing a missile, and riding the missile to save some children. Now, this opening scene, the purpose for it, not only because of the story, but to me, this shows us that, okay, these are their visual cues of you knowing, oh, this is what she's learned back in the past. This is what Wonder Woman's learned. So she learned how to lasso something before it hits something, or using it to propel herself forward. So these are like, to me, these are like visual cues to tell us, it's not something they're just going to throw in the middle of the movie. And you're like, how did she do that? No, it's learned, and more so, it becomes kind of earned. This part here, I'm not going to show you, but she shoots forward and breaks that shield or whatever, just like what she did to that dude in the mall, where she hits him. He goes propelling through that round thing and goes in the circle because of, I don't know, physics, I guess, but movie physics. But you see those visual cues, like, okay, there's these little things that are going to be in your memory as you're watching the film. It's like, that's where she learned that. That's where she learned that. That's where she learned that. And then, so you can even probably guess that some of these other things that are going to happen are probably going to happen within the movie as well, as she's figuring out to play these games, like that ball going through a hoop. That's probably something's going to happen in the movie as well. I'm thinking this is these visual cues to let us know later on, how is she going to accomplish this? How is she going to figure this out? Well, she learned all that. She learned all that when she was a kid. But the confusing thing is, like, I'm trying to remember, and maybe I have to go back and watch Wonder Woman, but wasn't it at this time? Because we see Queen Hippolyta and her aunt right here, and they seem to be okay with her being a part of this. I'm wondering, because I thought when she was a kid, they weren't letting her do any of this. So I'm wondering if this is like one thing where she's like, I'm going to try the games, or is this before the moment where they're not going to let her do anything? Because I believe when it was a kid, they're not going to let her train. She's not going to be a warrior. Then later on, when she gets older, then Queen Hippolyta actually lets her do the training and stuff like that. So my guess is something goes wrong probably here, and this is the start of why the Queen didn't want her to train. Possibly, I don't know, but I'm thinking if not the case, then that is a switcheroo, and it's probably putting even Wonder Woman out of canon. So I don't think that's going to be the case. I think there's going to be a reason why she is here at this game, and hopefully does not contradict the first Wonder Woman movie. So that's how I see this. In any case, it doesn't go any further. She starts running. She goes up into the thing, and then it cuts to a small little snippet trailer of what's to come after that, and then a little funny scene with her talking to Barbara Minerva, and she's saying, I like those shoes, essentially like BVS, I like those shoes. Where's those shoes? There, I like those shoes. She doesn't say I like those shoes, but it's kind of it reminds me of that. So anyway, it will be in theaters. It's going to be on HBO Max December 25th domestically. International, though, it should be out today. today, or by the time you see this, it's probably out right now. It's December 16th somewhere. So you definitely could probably take a look at that. Please, no spoilers in the comments, please. Please don't spoil for anybody else if you've already seen it. So, but that is Wonder Woman 1984. That's my thoughts on the critics' review, the opening scenes, the little mall clip, and of course, I can't wait. I just can't wait to watch. I'm ready. I'm ready to watch the movie. I'm ready. All right. So that's Wonder Woman 1984. And if you thought that was all that happened today, you'd be pretty wrong. So it's a pretty big day, even for Zack Snyder. Zack Snyder has posted on Vero that he is hard at work on Zack Snyder's Justice League. Posted this on Vero. Let me see if I can put this down. Zack Snyder, my whole sound crew is doing an amazing job. Hashtag Zack Snyder's Justice League. And we go a little further. Let me throw that back up. To get a little closer, just a little closer to what we're seeing here. We see the crew here. We see the screen here. And then thankfully, Positive Snyder Cut account. Thank you so much. Or Mr. Jonah actually posted this up. But you do see there's a marker here. They'll be explained a little bit. Property of Warner Max. This is the time, the area, or actually the scene where Lois Lane talks to Martha. At this moment, or maybe it is Martha, and then the switcheroo happens later on. But we'll find out next year. But this is the part right here, and I'm gonna close that. So he answered a lot of Q&A, a lot of questions and answers within the comments of this section. And I'm going to go through some of that. Oops. Wait. Okay. And I'm going to go through some of the comments right here. So, is VFX done? How far is it coming along, I guess? And Zack Snyder does reply that the VFX, visual effects, is only 75% done. So in the later comments, he says that they're on holiday and weekend work right now. They're trying to get it done quickly because this is supposed to be maybe around the beginning of the year. And will you use the Come Together song? Some people have wondered that, and he says no. So that I guess that Gary Clark Jr. song is not something that maybe he never intended. Maybe that's something the studio wanted him to use to make it a more hopeful and optimistic, maybe, I don't know. But for Zack Snyder's Justice League, he's not going to use the Come Together song at all. So for people who enjoy that, except for Ben Everett, sorry, there's not going to be that song in this movie. So the scene is technically at 2 hours and 28 minutes, if I'm not wrong. And Zack Snyder does say you're good. So you see there, right back over here, it says the 3. It always starts at 1. So that's way it's not 3 hours. This is actually the 2 hour and 28 mark, which is interesting. This is not the beginning. This is almost the middle of the whole movie, but there's still another almost 2 hours left to go. That's interesting. So keep that in mind. I was thinking this would have been earlier, but no, this is actually a lot later. I'm thinking we're going to get a little bit more Lois and Martha thing as we get, more of their story as we get closer to Superman's resurrection. So I'm actually intrigued by that comment. The next one is Zack Snyder's Justice League canon? That's something that we've all asked. Zack Snyder, he says this. That's up to you. This is the way. This is the way. Like Justin Midside said, this is the way. This is what Mandalorian said. This is the way. So it's up to you. It's up to you, however you want to see fit. I've been telling you this all this time. Zack Snyder is really only focused on Man of Steel, Batman v Superman, and Zack Snyder's Justice League. To him, that's his own content. That's all he's involved with. But if the other directors, like Wonder Woman 19, Patty Jenkins and stuff, they have a way of actually interconnecting a certain continuity with something else, then that's cool. He's cool with that. He's awesome. If you don't like it, he's awesome with that. This is all he's gonna work on. He's only gonna work on the arcs that the what he's doing. Justice League. That's it. So if you, in your own mind, want to continue have some type of continuity, if you want to start connecting things on your own path, you want to make your own timeline, he didn't care. He's like, that's up to you. That's up to you. So right there, that should be it for that. That's up to you. You want to make it canon? That's up to you. If you don't want to make it canon, that's up to you. It works for every other movie as well. So that's the answer to that. A little chat with Martian Manhunter. Can't wait, considering in Justice League, this was replaced by sexist jokes and anal probing aliens. And Zack Snyder, who didn't watch the movie, he's like, I'm sorry, what? I'm sorry, what? I'm sorry, Zach, but yeah, that did happen in Joss Whedon's Justice League. Yeah, thirsty jokes, yeah, and anal probing aliens, yeah. But it gets even more hilarious because he's like, when someone said they effed up the Lois Martha relationship in Justice League by sex jokes, and he's like, that's not true, is it? That can't be true. Yeah, it's true. Yeah, it's true. Sorry. I'm sorry, Zach. Maybe one day when you're all drunk and stuff, we can show you Justice League and you can make fun of it or swear your ass off. But yeah, stuff to say. Yeah, we're really happy Zack Snyder's Justice League is coming out. Just saying. Yeah. But that is not all. There is more about Zack Snyder. There's a lot of comments in there, some funny ones as well, but I felt like those are pertinent to the conversation for Zack Snyder's Justice League. But Zack Snyder's Justice League may be going on IMAX. This is coming from Positive Snyder Content. I want to shout them out. They do have Positive Snyder content, and it's great to see positive stuff. But Zack Snyder also posted just a few hours ago, went down to IMAX to see all the big aspect glory. What are you talking about? I forgot to share. What are you talking about? Well, this. Look at that. He's got the IMAX camera put together and is going to project it. And there you have it. Oh my God. Uxas. Uxas. However you want to say it. Dark Side on an IMAX screen with all these lucky people, probably his family, getting to watch that. I'm thinking this looks like Deborah Snyder. I don't know. But they are getting to watch Zack Snyder's Justice League in IMAX. Now, I don't know if this is the actual movie or just his trailer, but this intent of trying to see how it works on IMAX could be pretty much likely, just like I said yesterday, that Zack Snyder's Justice League is indeed coming to theaters. And that is awesome. That is awesome. I can't wait. Like, when does the tickets go for sale, right? And because I'm just basing this on that, I'm pretty sure all the theaters will be open by when this time, this comes out, right? And I hope so. I mean, in one of the comments that I forgot to flash up, he did say that it will be indeed coming out in the first quarter of 2021. What is the first quarter, you ask? Well, there's 4 quarters in a year. So January, February, or March. That is, and around first quarter. So indeed, it will be around that time. So, and I would totally love to buy tickets for this. Oh my God, I need to see this. This is going to be 4 hours. 4 hours of awesome, rated R, violent, profanity, content, in theaters. So please use the bathroom. Use the bathroom ahead of time. Empty whatever have to empty, and don't start drinking your soda until the 2 hour mark. That's my suggestion. Yeah, that's my suggestion. And when you start drinking at the 2 hour mark, please eat a lot of popcorn to absorb that. Yeah. So that's my suggestion for how to survive a 4 hour epic. But I'm going to think it's going to be so awesome, so enjoyable that you don't even know time has passed. And by the time it gets to the ending, you're going to be like, I want to see more. Please don't end. I have to see more. And I think that's going to be how I'm going to feel. After the movie's done, I'm going to be like, I can't wait to watch this again. And you can, because I can go home, drop on my couch, and watch it for dinner on HBO Max. So I think this is going to be a fantastic first quarter. I don't know when, but I think Zack Snyder dropped another clue aside from saying first quarter. He said, from James, thanks for putting this up. March 25th is such a cool date. He posted, it's such a cool date. You can't really see that, sorry. But let me throw that off again. Zack Snyder liked it. He liked it. March 25th is such a cool date. That's around the same time BVS dropped, didn't it? Yeah, I'm ready. I think that is a cool date as well. Once again, a day before my wife's birthday. It's hilarious. A lot of the biggest movies that I get to, like even Godzilla King of the Monsters, dropped around that time. And I'm like, what do you want to do for your birthday? I don't know, but we're gonna go watch. We're gonna go watch a movie. So, but no, she's also excited to watch Zack Snyder's Justice League as well. And I think it'd be a cool birthday present for her to watch Zack Snyder's Justice League. But so anyway, love you, and can't wait to watch Zack Snyder's Justice League. It's at the end of the third quarter, in the first quarter. It's the end of the first quarter, but it's still in the first quarter. And I think March would be very cool indeed. So can't wait for that. That's going to be so awesome. All right, now let's go on to the Ping Pong Flix members' comments and questions. Like I said, if you want me to read your comment or question that you posted on this video for me to read on the next video, please join as a member down below. And of course, put a comment and question. All right, so the first comment of the day is from Chan Samaru. In the released Wonder Woman 1984 score, tell me the track Black Gold doesn't sound like a Bond musical piece. I think we may get a sample taste of Han's upcoming work for 007 No Time to Die in this film as well. I haven't heard it, so I don't know, but I'm going to wait until the movie comes out. I kind of don't like, because when I listen to things ahead of time, it's like I'm waiting for those musical cues, and I'm not actually paying attention to the movie. So I kind of, in my, my own, preference is to not listen to the track until after the movie and then go get the tracks, right? So that's personally for me. Eric Blake, Hardboiled Entertainment. One thing I'd be eager to see was Zack Snyder's Justice League theatrical release, both the color version and black and white version in IMAX. Being able to see both versions on the big screen is the best of both worlds. With intermissions, of course, what say you? I would love to watch both versions as well. I do appreciate the monochrome. I do appreciate the black and white. Zack Snyder has said we're going to see the monochrome version as well. Forgot to throw that comment up as well. But yeah, so we're definitely going to see both versions. I would love to see both versions. I would see the black and white version IMAX as well. I think for me, and if you've watched my videos for a while, I was in, a little bit of art school, and we started off with black and white, trying to make things in black and white before before putting in color because you're concentrating on lighting, you're concentrating on composition rather than the flashy colors to sell your piece. And so I do enjoy that. I enjoy Logan in black and white. I enjoyed Mad Max Fury Road, the Chrome edition. That was awesome. So and I enjoyed a lot of black and white films from the beginning, from Akira Kurosawa, the noir, all types. So I do enjoy it, and I'll definitely watch that. By the way, I don't even need an intermission. Like, honestly, I don't need an intermission. But if there is one, there is one. Because some people need the intermission. I don't need an intermission. 4 hours, I can sit through 4 hours. Jimmy Howley, I've been always on the fence about the Snyder, but I'd rather have his unhampered vision. And if that includes a more extreme violent take, though not what I think of what with the DCU, let's see. Also, how is my first exposure to the character? How is this my first exposure to the character Cyclone? Is this a Mandela effect? What are you talking about? Did you see Cyclone in a live action Cyclone somewhere? Huh. I haven't seen a live action Cyclone. Yeah, I don't know. That's interesting. Where have you seen a live action Cyclone? Brandon Hayes, what are your thoughts on Zack's recent comments that it's up to the fans? If his version of Justice League is canon or not, and his claims that there won't be any after credit scenes, does that mean that his original Deathstroke Luthor scene would just play at the end of the film and not as an after credit scene? Oh, he also said there's no post credit scene. So there is a comment of that. I know there were so many comments I couldn't go through all of them, but he says there is no post credit scenes for Zack Snyder's Justice League. It will be truly interesting if the Snyder Cut becomes a hit and AT&T makes Warner Brother Pictures publicly apologize and do a press release and just admit that they messed up and officially reject the film. They're not going to do that. They're never going to apologize. Sorry. Highly doubt that. It would be fitting, especially with the Justice League investigation initiated by Ray Fisher. It would be, you know what? I'll take that back because Jason Kilar really talks to the fans now, and he really wants fans to back them up. So, yeah, it's a different time now. You never know. It would be interesting if they publicly denounce that film and start putting it down. It won't pull it down from the shelves because the stores already bought them. They're not going to return them. They already bought them. They'll probably mark it down to like 99 cents in the bundle, and they already do. I think I've seen some like $1. So. But it may take off streaming service. That may happen, and it makes it sure it goes out of print as something that exists on pirate sites only. I don't think they're making anymore. I think whatever is going out that's it. You see, I feel like when Zack originally filmed his version of the movie, there was a plan in place that was abandoned. I feel that once people see the movie, it will be obvious. The portrayal of the Atlantean mythology, Atlantis, the portrayal of Vulko, Mera, and the entire Aquaman world will be very different and will conflict and what was shown in the solo film James Wan made. I have a strong feeling Zack's film was the preamble to a very different type of Aquaman solo adventure, and I have a slight suspicion that once we see this 4-hour epic, the contrast between Zack's portrayal of Aquaman and James Wan's solo Aquaman film will be too great and too obvious and fans will be angry that we didn't get to see that different Aquaman film instead of the shiny action comedy film we got. Well, I gotta stop you there because James Wan showed Zack Snyder Aquaman and he loved it. He approved it. So, like Patty Jenkins, she doesn't want to start with, but Zack understands that each director is going to have their own style. So I'm going to stop you there. That's not going to go away. Aquaman made $1 billion. James Wan is going to continue making however Aquaman he's going to see fit. Just like the Up to You above, Zack Snyder won't care. He's still going to do what he is going to do in terms of his continuity, but it's up to you. So if you don't want to think that Aquaman is part of the continuity, that's up to you. Don't think of it. You can cancel that right now. You can delete that off your drive. You can throw away the Blu-ray DVD. Zack Snyder says that's up to you. So, but yeah, they're not going to change that. I mean, honestly, they're not. That made $1 billion. I also feel that the original Deathstroke scene that was shot will be featured as a regular scene and not an after credit scene. I don't think that it's a coincidence that Joe Manganiello is revealing tidbits about his Batman Deathstroke film. Zack's movie will leave a tease for a different type of Aquaman film and a tease for a Deathstroke adventure that we never got. Maybe Zack, HBO Max, Joe are hopeful the fans will want to see the Batman versus Deathstroke movie, which is why he's been talking about it. Yeah, I'm sure he hopes that that could definitely happen, but more important, I think it's what Affleck wants. In terms of Batman versus Deathstroke, that would be Ben Affleck's baby, not particularly Zack's baby, it's Ben's baby. So if Ben Affleck wants to do that, I don't know if he's going to direct that, but maybe he'll star in it because that's much easier to go through the process instead of doing directing, writing, and acting to that. But you know what? Like that's going to happen. Regardless if Zack pushes for it, right? I mean, he could essentially Stone Quarry is going to be in charge of producing all that, and I think he'd be pretty happy to help him out on that, definitely. So, but yeah, I think whatever was shot back then is going to be shown. So that Batman Deathstroke kind of eluded scene will be in the movie. It won't be in a post-credit scene, but it will be in the movie indeed. Zach P., who do you think the F-bomb in Zack Snyder's Justice League will be directed at? I don't know. Maybe he'll direct it at Steppenwolf. He's not going to say, wow, he's tall. Maybe he's going to say, when Steppenwolf slams down, he's going to be like, F! I know. My nieces watch this, so I can't really swear. Brandon Hall, what is up, my friend? Wow, an R-rated Justice League. Here is your first F-bomb. F yeah. I was somewhat hoping for this, but I didn't quite think it would pass. However, the Ultimate Edition of BVS was R-rated, even though it was due to the addition of blood and certain restored elements that were cut away from the theatrical release. So I don't anticipate this being too over the top, but man, I get more excited as things roll in. Me too. But then again, he says Steppenwolf rips things in half. Ooh, it puts me in the minds of Watchmen. There was a masterpiece in its own right with multiple edits, my favorite being the ultimate cut. Even though Snyder never intended for the Tales of the Black Freighter to be incorporated, it just feels like a complete film. And rarely does a film feel like it has a definitive period put on the end of it. But this is where Snyder thrives. And if we get a Justice League comparable to that, the fan reception will be off the charts. It's okay to cater to the fans. We are the fans that truly inform certain decisions, not the general or casual fan. Stop telling us what we want. Stop telling us what we like. I get that it is about profits at the end of the day, but that is usually the expense of the true fandom. I love the swing in direction that Warner Media HBO Max has taken. Give the fans what we want. I have to say, this truly excites me. We can have our mature content, as there will be other properties that can lean towards family-friendly, Shazam, and other ones. Sometimes, though, that family-friendliness neuters a good story or the potential of a character. We don't necessarily need graphically explicit either. Rather, a balance that is sorely missing in modern storytelling. A lot of times we see something billed as action-adventure, but the element of the adventure is missing for action being mistranslated as such. Complex ideas get lost in their complexity. Stories lack any real conviction. It's like something got lost around the mid-90s, and very few directors have been able to put forth a vision. And it depends on whose vision it is as to whether it will face scrutiny. I want a complete, uncompromised, thorough Justice League we as the fans deserve. Zack Snyder and Chris Terra deserve it, and audiences ready for broader scopes and depths of story with proof of concept deserve it. Our programming has been too watered down for a long time now. Storytelling is an art that I would like to see have its resurgence, not these cookie cutter copy and paste formats that we have become accustomed to between literature and filmmaking. So an R-rated Justice League, you say? Bring that S on, man. LOL. And those were my thoughts. As always, much love. Take care. Awesome comment there. I agree wholeheartedly. Chris, the opening scene of Snyder Cut was open with the death of Superman BVS, and second, Darkseid kills Lois Lane in the Wayne Hanger in the end of Snyder Cut. I don't know. I honestly, I like it anyway, but the opening scene we think is the death of Superman, and I think he kind of alluded to that, so that might be the case, definitely. I don't know if Darkseid will still kill Lois Lane at the end of the Snyder Cut. I was still thinking it was going to be the end of Justice League 2, but who knows at this point, because he's getting an opportunity now to take a second look at this thing and change it up to see what comes. So we're going to be a lot more surprised, I think, this time around. David Feldman, all I see is a whole bunch of backpedaling by Warner Bros. Zack's vision is going to be big. I'm praying to watch Jail in theaters. Also, BVS hit IMAX. I'll be there. Keep up all your amazing work, brother. Thank you so much, David Feldman. Yes. And like I said, it looks like it's going to be in theaters. So IMAX in theaters indeed. Raj Rudolph, F my life, Chris. I had tickets to Wonder Woman 1984 tomorrow on opening night in London on IMAX, and the UK government just announced that they're going back into Tier 3 strict lockdown. No, I feel so bad. I'm so sorry. Which means cinemas have to close again on the day of Wonder Woman 1984 premiere. I feel bad for you. I'm so sorry to hear that. You want to cry so bad. I get it. I know. COVID just keeps getting, But yeah, man, I feel really terrible for that, Raj. And man, I hope there's something. I think there's a premium VOD. I think you can watch 1984, but it's going to be at your own home, unfortunately. But, it is what it is. It really is. Like, I'm going to be stuck at home. Amparo, I hope by the time Zack Snyder's Justice League is released, there will be an IMAX theater open in Seattle. Me too. I hope that it's not going to be when, I think that was the last comment, by the way. Yeah. It's not going to be, I think the vaccine is not going to be open, readily available to the public at that time, but maybe with a little bit more confidence in, social distancing and all that, and the confidence that the vaccine is doing its job, because a lot of this COVID may be transferred within healthcare workers. So with the healthcare workers now have vaccinated, the spread might be less. And so I'm thinking hopefully this will get theaters to open. I think maybe people are going to be more comfortable with going back to theaters, but we'll wait and see. We'll have to wait and see about that. But indeed, there's a lot of hope. I'm optimistic. Zack wants us watching IMAX. He also made a comment that how it's intended on your effing phone. So it's going to be interesting indeed to see what happens next year. But yeah, at least Zack Snyder's Justice League is indeed coming out next year. All right, well, that is it. Thank you so much for watching. Like I said, if you absolutely love this daily dose of DC content and movies, shows, and video games, please click the like button. Hit that subscribe button. Ring that notification bell. Keep this hot dog light on, and I'll see you next time. Bye.